Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good morning, good evening, good noon, and good night, wherever you are. Thank you for chiming in. This is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real tonight, tomorrow, this morning, wherever you are. Anyway, say hi to my guest, Stephen. Say hi to the good folks out there.
Hello.
Awesome. Y'all, this is 2025 again. I can't even believe we made it, but we made it. But for the grace of God, we made it.
That's right.
I'm so excited. So if this is your first time chiming in, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much. We just want to give the world an opportunity to see our lives, to see what God has done in our lives, y'all.
Yeah.
It's the whole ordeal. A little bit of my life, a little bit of journey through my life. And oh my God, what God has done today. So that's
right.
what we're all about. So guys, I'm meeting Stephen for the first time. Actually, we have never met face to face. We met 2 days ago on the phone, right?
That's right. That's right.
So I'm interviewing like everybody else is. So how are you doing today?
All is well. It's a good morning. It's a good morning.
It's a
Yes,
good
ma'am.
morning. It is.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is. It is. My daddy used to say it's a good morning. We all above ground. But
That's
then
right.
later on, he started saying, well, even if I wasn't above ground, it's still a better morning.
Some would say it's even better to be below ground
Yes, that's what I'm
because
saying.
then you're with the Father.
Yeah. So where are you from, Stephen?
I am originally from Santa Rosa, California,
Oh, okay.
born and raised.
Okay, very well. I lived in California for a bit, about 5, 6 years, when I was out there
Okay.
wild and running crazy.
That's what they do out there.
Yes. So how in the world, and where are you now? Where are you now?
So now I currently live in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get here for the good folks and me?
So you want the long version or the short version?
Oh, I want the long version because guess what? How
All
did you
right,
get here?
super. So when I was 9 years old, I started smoking marijuana.
Oh,
Um
okay.
uh my dad was a biker and he was affiliated with some of the local clubs in California. Not just one, some of the local clubs. He was a drug dealer, he was a meth creator. He would, they called it cooking dope back in the days.
Yeah,
So
right.
I grew up around Harley Davidson's, drugs, and wild parties and craziness. I was in and out of schools, kicked out, suspended, moving, whatever the case may have been. Um,
Okay, Stephen, let me pause you just for a second. Okay, so that was your dad, but was your mom around?
my mom was around.
And what about
Yeah, my
siblings?
mom was around. I was playing both sides of the fence. I'm gonna get to that.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Get me. Stop me, because I just be going on and on. But you
no,
do
you're
have.
good. So I could go back a little further than that. My mom and dad were high school sweethearts.
Okay.
And then my dad joined the Navy, ended up with another woman, came back and got together with my wife. He told her that if she got pregnant again, he was going to leave her. And then she got pregnant with me, so he left.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom started taking a better road in life. Started doing what she needed to do to build a career, build a family. Her being mom and dad at the same time. I wanted to be my dad. My dad was well respected amongst the biker community. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted that respect. I wanted that clout. I wanted to be him. I wanted the friends. I wanted to be accepted. You
Mm.
know, it was hard. I was not well accepted as a kid. Very awkward in a lot of ways. You can see still today I have big ears.
I never noticed because I never noticed because ears are ears, you know.
My nickname growing up was Ears or Radar.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. Oh, that was my nickname. So I had to contend with a lot of people on that situation, getting into a lot of arguments and fights.
Okay.
So to fit in, I chose the people that would accept me, and those were people like my dad. So I started hanging out with their kids, which was biker families, and going to school. At 9 years old, I was bringing marijuana to school. I
Mm.
started cutting school in second grade. Back and forth from mom to dad, mom to dad, mom to dad. My mom really kept trying to get me to do the right thing. My dad didn't really care what I did.
All right.
Um, went to two different elementary schools, three different junior high schools, um, and two different high schools. I ended up going to juvenile hall for the first time when I was 13 years old for a burglary.
Mm.
I started doing back then it was called crank. Today they call it crystal meth. I started doing that at the age of 13. Um,
Wait,
got
wait,
into
wait. You started doing crystal meth at 13?
Yes, ma'am. It was
Was
crank back then, speed.
right. Was the burglary related to that?
Um, Not necessarily, no. I mean, we
Okay.
were high, of course, but
Okay. Just
but
that.
it wasn't I wasn't stealing to get dope. My dad took
Gotcha.
dope. So I got dope for free. I
Okay.
would just steal it from him.
Wow.
Um and uh and share it with friends at school because that's what made me popular. Was
Mm.
having weed, was having dope, was having all of that type of stuff. Always fun, 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 party, party, party. I was the class clown kind of guy. If I could make you laugh, then I gained a friend. If you liked what I had, then I gained a friend.
So you
It
finally
wasn't
got that
ever a
acceptance. You got that acceptance you were looking
accept.
for.
Oh man, big time, big
Okay.
time. Still struggle with it a little bit today.
Sure.
To be honest with you. Um, so well, I can't believe I just said that. Everybody's gonna hear that.
That's
Amen.
fine. This is real talk. We're real.
This is real talk.
This is
Amen.
real talk. So go ahead.
So um so my first sentence when I was 13 years old was a year and a half. Um I went into a program called the adolescent program, where I was at for a year, and and then I was released from there. Did good for a little while, was living with my mom,
Hmm.
and started hanging out with my dad again, and just fell into the wrong traps again. The neighborhood that even my mom lived in, it was I'm not going to say the name of the place, but because
Not necessarily.
I know a lot of my friends are going to end up watching this, so so they'll know. But the street that I lived on and the trailer park that I lived in was noted as one of the worst streets in the city that we lived in. Not because it wasn't nice at all. It was just like even the pizza man wouldn't deliver on our street
Okay.
because he kept getting robbed. So obviously, the neighborhood was just bad in general,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of drugs and violence and craziness going on there. And in the middle of that, there's my mom trying to just go to work and provide for her family and
Yes.
do the next right thing. And I just was a very, very poor son to her. To the point that even today, everything I've been through and where I'm at today, my oldest sister still won't talk to me
Mm.
uh, on the phone. We text very, very seldom, but we text.
His mom's
Um, no, mom passed away. I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
okay.
So, high school, uh, high school, I had a lot of friends, but it was all because of, drugs. It was because I had what they wanted. You could even venture to say that there was a lot of people that only came around me because of the drugs that I was doing, or I was only around them because of them having drugs and wanting to do their drugs. If you weren't in that type of a lifestyle, I didn't really have much to do with you.
Hmm.
Um, so So through high school, I went and did another year and a half locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Got out, ended up going to a continuation school, a school for bad kids.
Okay.
Um, was just cutting. I never really went to school. I was just signed up there really. Ended up not graduating high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't see much of my 12th grade year at all, really. And even I was looking through papers the other day and finding old report cards from like third grade and
Mm-hmm.
just a D student, never really amounting to anything in school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yet everybody always telling me how smart I was.
Uh-huh.
So really, really not believing that due to the paperwork that said that I wasn't smart, you
Right.
know, but not even caring either. So after getting out of high school, I ended up getting locked up in county jail very, very often,
Mm-hmm.
for just being stupid, for being just stupid,
Uh-huh.
loaded, stealing. If you had something, it was mine.
Right. Right.
Self entitlement. I want that, so I'm just going to steal it from you
Uh-huh.
instead of go out and try to make money to buy it or whatever. Didn't really work per se. Just took whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
People didn't want me around because they learned that I was a thief. That
Mm.
if they had something of any value, they better hide it from me.
Mm.
Not allowed in my own mother's home. Um, in fact, there was a point in time where she had got me a tent to put up in her backyard and got me some, I remember, man, cereal, milk in a bowl to keep in my tent, bread,
Mm.
bologna, and cheese and mayonnaise to keep in my tent because she didn't even want me to come in and eat food.
Wow.
Uh, so at that point, basically, you could call it homelessness.
Homeless is in your
So
home. Right.
homeless, yeah, right. I was like right in her backyard. I was living in her shed for a while, and then she got me a tent because she needed the shed. So, um,
And you understand that most of this was the reason she did this was because of your lifestyle.
oh yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
because she was worried I would take from her.
Yeah, she would where you would steal from her. Got it.
I would, I would, man, if she had gold jewelry laying out, it was mine.
Right.
It was my
Yeah.
mom, and it. I didn't even care.
Mm.
Um, it had gotten so bad. The meth use
Yeah.
resulted into um, if I saw anything of value, I was going to trade it for meth.
Yeah. Okay.
I would hawk it, I would trade it, whatever. I had gotten to the point in Santa Rosa where the pawn shops there wouldn't allow me in the pawn shops. Every time I come by, they'd call the cops,
Huh.
because they knew I was trying to bring them stolen property.
Right.
I was robbing people's houses. I was taking their rings and everything they had that I can get my hands on, laptops, everything that they had, just to bring to the pawn shop so that I could score more dope.
Mm.
Um, Everybody got fed up with me and sick of me. So I joined the carnival.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I joined the carnival because I had a great connection with drugs that I could bring into the carnival business and
Mm.
try to monopolize in that area, and thinking that I was, doing something with my life, because I'm working, right?
Right.
Um, I did that for about 15 years. I was in the carnival business.
Okay.
Uh, I've done everything from operate, set up, and work on rides to running games to managing games. At one point, with one of the carnivals I worked for, they became like a family, and I ended up living in a travel trailer in their backyard. And I became a big part of their family. Ended up messing them over as well, and splitting from there. I mean, everybody that ever crossed my path,
Yeah.
I would do them wrong. I would
Yeah.
do them wrong. I left so much wreckage in my past that it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable. Um, so that was down in Southern California. I moved back up to Northern California,
Uh-huh.
uh, thinking that I could try to do something again in the same town where I was born and raised in. My mother had moved. I found out where she lived and went to seek her out. And at this point, I was homeless in my hometown. Um, and
How long
This-
was it before you found out where your mom lived? How long, what was the span of time between the time you had seen her till now? Well, not now, but till that time.
Yeah, so amen. So while I was in the carnival, I somehow was able, I don't remember how, I was able to get her phone number
Mm-hmm.
and call her. This was probably about 9 years of not talking to her or anybody in my family. I
That's
finally called her up
uh-huh.
and started making some connection with her. And actually, in the middle of that, I had left the carnival business for a while, uh, and moved to San Luis Obispo,
Okay.
where I was with a girl there, and started reuniting with my mother and my big sister and all of that. They even came out to San Luis Obispo to visit, and then after that, I went back into the carnival business again because me and the girl had split up, and so that was for about another 3 years, 3 or 4 years or so, and then I went back to Northern California.
Okay. Okay, stop right there. The 9 years. I'm a very good listener now. The 9 years, and then you reconnected with your mom. So what was her response after not communicating with her for 9 years?
Yeah, my mom was a tough woman.
Uh-huh.
Um, on the outside,
Uh-huh.
I know that I had hurt her and it would be on the inside, but she would never show that to me.
Okay.
Um, it was always she was taught at my in my younger years tough love. To treat me with tough love
Mm-hmm.
because I was tough on her, I guess. So she just learned she wasn't heartless, but she acted like she was.
Sure. It was
Like,
her
oh, now
defense.
all of a
It was her
sudden you want to come
defense.
back into my life, huh?
Yeah.
What's
It
going
was
wrong that you want to come back into my life?
right, right,
You know, what do you want? I know you only here because you want something, type
right,
of stuff. That was her response.
right.
And then me being the great con artist that I was, would talk her back into my life, into believing that I was doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when she was in San Luis Obispo, every time that I went to, she was there for about a week,
Mm-hmm.
and every time we met up to go do something, I was drunk. I
Wow.
was drunk, 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 drunk. That's what I did there. I got drunk.
Uh-huh.
Um, and So she went back home. I ended up splitting up with the girl that I was with and going back into the carnival business for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
At this point, I think I was probably mid to late 20s. Um, yeah. So I went after the carnival business that time. I went back to Northern California and tried to find my mom, found her. And it was the same thing. What do you want? What are you doing here? There's nothing here for you. I remember those words clear as day. There's nothing here for you. You know, always asking her, telling her, "Oh, well, I'm gonna take the bus and go back down to San Luis Obispo. Do you have a couple $100?" And she would give me the couple $100 just to get out of her face, really. Um, and then I would go back and forth, like there's always an excuse why I couldn't go. Oh, I couldn't go, but I needed the money to eat or get a hotel or something. Can I get another couple of, and finally she just got tired of that. Um, so there came a point where my dad didn't even want me around. I was too in all of my dad's chaos and his lifestyle, he even didn't want me around.
Okay. This is the man that accepted you the first time.
This is the man that was affiliated with the Hells Angels, the Misfits, the Mongrels,
Yes, but he
all
accepted
of
the hunt.
these
Yeah.
serious biker clubs that are out murdering people, dealing drugs, and
Uh-huh.
committing crimes. But I was too rough around the edges to be around that. So that says a lot about who I was in that time.
Right.
My own dad didn't want me around. He knew that I would steal from him too.
Okay.
Um, and there's a in biker affiliation, there's family bond. You don't push your family away no matter what they've done.
Mm.
It's just one of those kind of laws, one of those codes. Family is everything.
Uh-huh.
um Maybe not your wife but your kids and stuff like that, right? So even he didn't want me around. So this is where we get to the point of how did I get to New Orleans? I grew up skateboarding and next to the coast and loving the beach and all that stuff. So I wanted to go to Florida and see the oceans in Florida.
Uh-huh.
So on one day I was drunk and had a little bit of money in my pocket and decided, well, let's go to Florida. So
Uh-huh.
I had we've skipped over a lot of stuff, but
That's okay.
that's okay. Yeah. So there was a brother that I met. He's a pastor, Pastor Michael Hayward, in Roanoke Park, California. He's no longer a pastor there. He moved, but he he really cared for people. He does care for people a lot. He had I told him that there was a carnival going on. It was actually the state fair. It was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he got me a ticket to go that way.
Okay.
So I got to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and from there I did work the state fair there and then left and put my thumb out and started hitchhiking towards Florida.
Okay.
Um what a journey that was. You know, hitchhiking's not like it was back in the 70s or the 80s, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I met a lot of interesting people.
Wait. Hitchhiking is not like it was back in the 70s or the 80s. Now, you got to understand, I never hitchhiked before, so I don't know. Maybe all my viewers hitchhiked before. I don't know. But kind of, I know I'm getting you all off course, but
No,
how
that's okay. So I used to I
comparison to back then and now?
yeah. Well, I didn't hitchhike back in the 70s or 80s,
Uh-huh.
but I know that it was just a different time, a different era. Today is just not the same in general, you know. You can't really trust many people.
There you go.
Like
Oh,
to throw your thumb out, I don't trust the person throwing their thumb out, and I'm sure they don't trust me, you
right.
know, but there was a time, you know, when I skipped over a lot of this, but in California, I did a lot of hitchhiking. Packing my skateboard, hitchhiking, and on Highway 1 or even Highway 9 through Santa Cruz, and it was just a different way, you know, like people were nice. People would bring you to their home,
Okay,
you
okay.
know.
I wonder what you meant.
So hitchhiking through I ended up in New Orleans, Louisiana,
Okay.
and I thought I was just here for a moment. I got dropped off at the McDonald's
Uh-huh.
uh on Claiborne, South Claiborne Avenue,
Uh-huh.
and didn't know where I was, didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um Definitely didn't realize the neighborhood I was in.
Right.
It's in an area called the Third Ward, which is not a nice neighborhood.
Right.
And you know, I was kind of like the fly in the ointment. Uh, and just proceeded to walk with my backpack. I had a backpack with one drumstick, a
Uh-huh.
blanket, and I think I had a pair of dirty socks and a shirt in there.
Drumstick. You play drums?
I do. I didn't, but I do now. Just always wanted to dream. It was just something to mess with. One drumstick had broke, so I threw it,
Okay.
but I thought I should keep the other drumstick for some reason. Look,
Okay.
I was whacked. I was on everything you could think of, drunk,
Okay.
loaded,
Okay.
just crazy, dirty, stinky, homeless. Uh, I had created a new, no, I had followed a new path of what they call flying a sign.
Okay.
Uh, I was the guy that was on the corner with a piece of cardboard begging you for money.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Let's stop right here because we got to hear the rest of the story, y'all. Now, Stephen has told us how his childhood, how he's gotten to New Orleans, our city on Claiborne in the Third Ward. And we're going to hear the rest of the story. Don't y'all want to hear the rest of the story? Well, I do. Okay. We will see y'all next week because this is DTM Real Talk and we're just doing what? Keeping it real. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.